What up, homies? David Rivera here from Rivera Media, here to show you how I do things so you can do them better. Today I'm going to be showing you how I prepare my line work for coloring by separating it from the background. But before we do that, turn the volume up. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a drawing that I did of a zombie eating pizza. Because, you know, as we know, zombies only eat people because they can't order pizza. They can only moan into the phone, which is kind of creepy. A lot of them don't have the muscle dexterity to even use apps to order pizza, and you know, it's really hard for them to hold down jobs to even afford to do so. So if you see a zombie, maybe don't run, maybe just offer him some pizza. Actually, pizza might work well for many dangerous situations. Use your best judgment though. It's not about that, it's just about how I prepare my line work for coloring. So as you can see, the lines are still on a solid white background. It's just solid black on solid white. There's no transparency, so if I turn off the background layer, nothing happens. And one of the most common ways that people color their comic art without touching the line art is to create a layer specifically for the colors, and that layer will be placed below the line art layer. Then you can select the line art layer and change the blending mode to multiply. When you do that, all the white on the line art layer will be ignored. It's still there, it's just not visible. That allows you to color on the layer below and have the color show through the invisible white with the black lines still on top. So you can see if I turn the line work off, the color layer is still visible. You can even color the whole piece this way if you want. I mean, a lot of people do, as long as the color layers are below the line work or the line art layer, it's just, you know, no problem. But one of the reasons I don't use this method, as I said, is because the white is still technically there. So basically, in this context, anything that is black is going to remain visible, and anything that is white will appear transparent as long as there's something under it. You can see if I turn off the visibility of the background layer below the line art, the multiply blending mode has no colors to multiply with, so the result is that the solid white, it becomes visible again. It never goes away, it just has nothing to blend with, and so it shows as its default value. This is kind of problematic if you want to add effects to the lines or simply need the lines to be solid and everything else to be transparent. You know, like if you're creating a PNG to use on a t-shirt, like this is going to be used for. Or if you want to have PNGs, you know, to cut out stickers or something like that. So what do we do in this instance? Well, this is how I prepare the line art. Change the line art blending mode back to normal. Then with the line art selected, click Ctrl A to select the entire layer, then click Ctrl C to copy it. Next, create a new layer above your line art and fill it with black. Then click the mask button at the bottom to add a mask to this black layer. Now select the mask by alt-clicking, and then what we see here when we do that is the contents of the mask. It's currently empty, so click Ctrl V to paste our copied line work inside. Once your line work is pasted, click Ctrl I to invert it. The reason we do this is because in a layer mask, whatever is white is visible and whatever is black is removed. Now that the negative looking line work is in place, click the eyeball icon or any other layer to exit the mask and see the full layer results. Now if you hide the original line work layer, you can see our black layer is visible and the mask is removing the rest based on the line work we pasted in there. So we'll rename this new layer Lines Alone for clarity's sake, and since we don't need the original line art with the white background anymore, we can go ahead and delete it. Yeah, I know, scary, right? After I add my signature, of course, you can see if I turn off and on the background layer, the lines are completely separate and have no background attached. They are their own thing. So if we make a new layer specifically for colors again, you can see that the lines, background, and colors are all in their own layers now. Now let me show you one of the cool things we can actually do with this. So since the lines are actually in a mask that is applied to a color layer, any color you put in that layer will change the color of the lines. So if I fill that layer with green instead of black, the lines become green. You can change it to any color too, like dark blue, which is of course one of my faves. Now I'm not going to do it, but if you apply the mask to the layer and click Lock Transparency, then you can color the lines directly like this without your brush affecting anything outside the lines. I prefer not to merge the mask so I can see the original color layer and sometimes apply multiple effects or gradients to it. It really comes down to personal choice. So now if I fill that layer with black again to make our lines black, I can do my normal coloring process. I go over this in more detail in my other video where I color the vegetarian T-Rexes, so we're gonna just breeze through it here. Kinda curious, what's your favorite type of pizza? What's your favorite type of zombie for that matter? Personally, since I'm a vegetarian, I usually get a cheese pizza with black olives, green peppers, and jalapenos. I don't really have a favorite zombie. Is Jesus a zombie? Not my favorite. One thing I wanted to show you here, since I didn't need to in my coloring video, is once I have my flat colors in place, I use them to create a selection by control clicking them. You can see they are selected with the marching ants. That's what they call that little outline that moves whenever you have something selected. Then I use the lasso tool to select the parts that are not part of the selection, getting rid of stray outlines and making one consistent solid outline. Then I expand it a little more and fill it with white to make sure it's a solid outline. First I'll make a new layer, fill it with white. I'll also rename it white. Then I'll put it below the color flats layer and change the color of the background layer so I can see it better. Now, since it looks like a pretty decent outline, I'll go ahead and select it and add a stroke of the same color, in this case white, to make it a stronger outline. This allows me to control and adjust how big the outline is. In this case, I set it to 29 pixels without messing with the original color or line art layers. And since this is going to be on a black shirt, I made the background black to test how it will look. Then I color my signature to match and proceed with the coloring process. Shadows, highlights, texture, brighter highlights, etc. Check out my coloring video for more on that. For now, that's how I prepare my line work for coloring. And now that you know how I do it, you can do it better. And of course, hit me up on the socials. I would love to see your work. And remember, don't be a stranger, just be strange. Catch you in the next one, homies.